Laura!
Marisa!
What time is it?
It's Divine Mother Earth time!
Woohoo!
Hello, everybody. It's Laura Eisenhower. I am the co-host of Divine Mother Earth Time.
And I'm the other co-host of Divine Mother Earth Time. I'm Marisa. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, well, we have a very special guest today. I've known Audrey for quite a number of years. We've done a number of events together. I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I've just been so fascinated by your journey, your story, and your recent book. So we look forward to just diving right in.
Yeah, I'm going to read a little bit about you from your bio, Audrey. You are a STARSEED experiencer and a contactee for most of your life. You were hijacked by the SSP, the Secret Space Program, in your young teen life. That brought you some important information that you share on your YouTube channel, which we're going to link to, called STARSEED Netlink. You started to help teach general public about different spiritual topics and research, and also about talking about galactic politics and how they affect Earth. It's really fascinating. On your YouTube channel, popular series called Space School Lesson, through your published book, that was inspired by called Space School Lessons Volume 1, Beginner's Guide to Galactic Politics, on Amazon and Kindle, which you base your teaching from otherworldly beings that grew up from Starseed and the SSP standpoint. You're also in the process of writing your second book and edition 2 of your first. You are a spiritual consultant, and you do readings to help people with their spiritual aspects of themselves and experiences that they have. So welcome. We can't wait to hear all you have to tell us.
Yeah, Audrey, I mean, take us into your journey. Walk us into just your teen years, what happened, and just the STARSEED remembrance and awakening.
Well, I've been having experiences ever since I was a baby, so this has been going on my entire life. I started to, I think it was right during the pandemic or right after. It's like they were like ramping me up, like, you need to come out, you need to speak out and teach the public about what is actually going on, because they from their standpoint and from my standpoint is that they're not asking or answering the questions that the general public has. Like, why aren't they showing themselves? Why aren't they answering the questions? And so that's where basically I come in and basically explain to people in the general public, like, this is the reason why there's a law about this, and I explain in detail about it. So I started my YouTube channel about 4.5 years ago. It was a beginner's channel for people to like come and just basically help them break down topic subjects. Like, what is general knowledge into some of these communities is not general knowledge to other people that are starting out. So it can be very, very far advanced or very hard for them to understand. So they come to my YouTube channel, I break down the topics, I answer their questions, and then they can just basically branch out to other YouTube channels that have more information, because they basically got to that point where they just catched up, and now they can just branch off and just ask other questions and stuff. Slowly over time, it started turning into a research channel. I started realizing that people regurgitate information a lot, just spin it. And I was like, well, there's a whole lot of new information out there that people have not explored or have not have asked those questions. So that's basically where I come in, and it's like, well, these are the research topics, these are the questions that I'm doing, and just basically like just explain it all and just do those research and get people interested in talking about those topic subjects. And then over the course of, after like 2.5 years on my YouTube channel, I started my own human council. So I've been noticing that there is a lot of representation out in space or like in the galactics and stuff, but there isn't really a focal point or like an actual council that represents the actual general public of the world. And so usually when we have representative, they always have sketchy agendas or they have something that does not benefit the whole of humanity. So that's basically where my little council comes in, because we represent the general public. We don't really have like hidden agendas. It's all straightforward. We're trying to get more people around the world to be more diverse and just share our opinions, but it's like we need a council that represents the actual general public of the world.
Nice.
I have a question. I mean, the general council's really interesting, but why were you hijacked by the secret space program to begin with? Why? What was it that they wanted from you?
For the most part, from what I've been understanding, it was because of my galactic lineage. I recently found out that I have galactic royal lineage. This was through a this was through a QHT session, which I got confirmed that the reason why they probably hijacked me was because of my galactic royal lineage. I'm deeply rooted and connected to the Stargate system. I recently got confirmed that I'm also connected to what I'm doing research on, which is called the Stasis Pod program, where it gets into STARSEED storytelling or STARSEED stuff, where there was 144,000 light workers that got sent to Earth. And these beings are probably us that got hijacked into the SSP program and started changing stuff or like trying to help humanity and stuff. So I've been doing research about that. And one of the other things is that I'm also connected to the Stargate system as well. So I've been doing a lot of artwork and a lot of connections doing with Stargates. And I have a YouTube video where I'll explain the different generations of Stargates, how to dial them, and how they basically operate.
So when you say, I just would like to go a little bit deeper. When you say you're connected to the Stargate system, what does that mean exactly? So
from what I'm understanding, my galactic family or my galactic origins basically created the entire Stargate system that is centered around our entire galaxy.
Yeah,
so like the
like Guardian founder races, the ancient races.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've been figuring out that my race or my galactic origin purpose was to save races on the brink of extinction. So this might also explain the reason why they got sent to Earth is to basically help humanity. And I also got that confirmed. So essentially is that one of the main reasons why I probably got hijacked is because my galactic origin, my race, saved races on the brink of extinction. We have helped a lot of different races around our galaxy after this, I think, the galactic war that has happened that's often talked about. Connected to the portal gate system, I know a lot of ET technology that I explain to the general public and what it's used for. And I also talk about a lot about basic galactic knowledge or galactic politics that the general public needs to understand.
Right. Do you have memories, a lot of memories of your SSP time?
I only remember being taken a lot. The first time that they took me was probably around when I was 13. That one was a little bit graphic. I don't know if you want me to talk about that, but I just remember being kidnapped by my family.
Only if you want to talk about it. Do you want to?
So
I would like to hear it.
So my first memory started around 13, where they came into a black helicopter and they came down from the black helicopter. And it's very interesting and very rare to have a military helicopter land in your backyard and start having like actual military personnel hop out of the helicopter. And this was like in the dead of night. And you start hearing people from my neighborhood trying to figure out like what's going on. Is there like a terrorist attack or anything like that? And so they didn't want any witnesses, so you can hear the pop of the gun while they're shooting at witnesses because they don't want witnesses. And they come into my family house. They kill my parents. They kill my dog and my brother. And they basically kidnapped me or like basically ripped me from my bedroom. And then I got put into the DUMBs. The second memory that I have was with my Girl Scout troop. We went down to Tennessee, Kentucky to go to the Mammoth Caves. And I was taken during my Girl Scout trip. They came in. I remember the girls in my troop screaming. And they basically dragged me from my cabin bed, suffocated me to death, and basically strangled me to death, and basically took me to wherever they needed me to go. So I just have memories of them taking me. I don't have detailed memories explicitly like what I was doing in the program.
When they strangled you to death, how are you here? Did they regenerate, or did they put you through a med bed or something? How did you want?
I do believe they put me through a generation tank and a med bed. I remember being in those type of tanks, sleeping. The older generations, you can't really like drink the liquid, but the newer generations, you can breathe through the liquid and drink it. So like I remember the taste of it. It's sort of like a greeny-ish metallic taste to it. It's like eating like a lettuce that has like a metallic taste to it.
Huh. Wow. And what happened to your family though? You said they were
they're still alive. They just switched the timeline.
Yeah.
They just went back in time and switched the timeline and moved it to an alternate timeline.
Right.
Okay, that's interesting because it's like you have so many things that happened, but then they didn't. But then they get switched to an alternate timeline. Like they killed you.
Trauma lingers.
But then
so it was like really, really difficult because I went through a massive depression cycle during my teen years. And I was also debating whether or not what was happening. So I was going through, like life, going through high school, having a depression cycle, as well as trying to figure out and battling religious ideology, like, am I being punished or and stuff like that. So essentially what happened was around when I was like 15 or 16 years old, I do have memories of being rescued from the DUMBs. Like my family hired some sort of bounty hunter or some sort of, and basically rescued me from the DUMBs. Then, and my human life, due to the fact that I was debating a lot about religion, I do believe that it was done on purpose. For the first time in my life, I wake up from coming back from an alien abduction or like from a regular alien abduction. And there is a gray with a little tablet in my bedroom next to an orange portal. I wake up and I see them there or see him there. And
wait, you see there's a grave in your bedroom?
Yeah, an actual 3D real gray in my bedroom.
Right.
What do you mean? There's an actual grave in your bedroom? That's your grave?
No, gray alien.
Oh, gray. Okay. There's a gray in your bedroom with an orange.
And so like an actual gray alien showed up in my bedroom around when I was 16. And around an orange portal, he was holding a tablet. And in that moment, yes, I was very shocked, very like, oh my goodness, like I just discovered alien life. Like, but what is it doing in my bedroom?
Mhm. What was it doing in your bedroom?
And after that moment, I was like, everything that has happened in my life, all the experiences, everything is real. And that basically catapulted me into going into the spiritual community online and the STARSEED community online and doing a lot of research. And just basically after spending like 10 plus years in those communities, I finally started my YouTube channel and started to share all of my experiences and stuff.
So getting back to the gray, what was the gray doing in your bedroom? Can you tell us that? Why was the
He
gray in
was
your
just
bedroom
doing a
with the
lot of
portal
vlog
and
and
the tablet?
So he was just doing his regular duty, their contact to hire. So I do believe that it was done on purpose, to basically catapult me into thinking or getting to the state of where I am consciously. So he was just basically just doing his job with the tablet, just punching down numbers like, okay, I'm finished with my job. This is what happened. Everything went well. And then just basically just went through the portal. So it's just basically like he's just finishing up his job and just leaving.
Right.
So it's like just checking up on you kind of thing?
Yeah.
Just
He
like,
was probably got hired by my galactic family or whoever hired them to like, okay, she got rescued from the dumps. She got rescued. We have to go and check and make sure like what is going on. It was also probably because I was going through a major depression cycle. So that's probably also the reason why they showed up, to make sure that I was okay and prevent anything or residue happening from DUMS into my consciousness. So they're just basically just doing like a wellness check.
So what did you discover about benevolent grays versus non-benevolent then?
So during the beginning years of alien abductions, they went in blind. No one told them nothing about the human race. They went in, did their job, and they had no emotional connection to us. The Greys are contact for hire. They were specifically sent to do research after World War II over the human race because of what was happening on the planet, of their current circumstances. So they just basically came in, did their job, did a research, brought it back. And then slowly over time, they started figuring out that they needed culture interpreters. Culture interpreters help beings to understand the culture concept. Like for an example, like this is my phone. When you're talking to another ET race, they don't know what this is. They don't know that this is a phone. They might think that this is a weapon. They don't know what this is. So they need a culture interpreter to tell them like, this is a phone. This is used for communication. This is not a weapon. So that's what a culture interpreter is. So with that understanding, that's when the hybridization program started. I do believe, and I've done an entire research panel about the entire alien hybrid program. So they needed to create actual culture interpreters, and the culture interpreters help the Greys to understand the emotional integrity of their word. Like, for an example, if they were taking it too far or not too far, and basically stop. I do know that a lot of the negative ones don't do that. They're just basically there just for science. They're just there just to do their job and just leave. The ones that are more, I guess, more emotionally attached or more considerate, they understand that there's a limit. And their attention is never to like, they know certain limits, but they understand certain functions that they don't want to traumatize the person too much, but sometimes they do take it too far. But one of the things that they didn't understand or didn't factor in is that some humans can regain their memory back after memory wiping. They also didn't realize that humans can gain back their memories through hypnosis. So that's something that they did not calculate with this. So, and over time with memory erasing, they start to like break it down, or like it starts to wear away over time. So all that memory erasing from all their trips and stuff will slowly break down, and people will start to slowly remember over a course of time. They won't remember, like they could be taken their entire life and start to like remember that they were taken around when they're like 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. And that's because the technique is no longer working, or like their brain chemistry has changed so much that the memory or wiping doesn't work anymore. So they're just slowly starting to remember. But as far as I know, they're just getting a lot better at it. They're just getting a lot better at getting people to not notice them. Like, we're just here to do a job, get in, get out, kind of leave for like information stuff.
So what's the point of them even doing that and being here? Like what is their agenda?
Most of all the data that they get actually goes to the Galactic Federation and to other races. Like this is where the information where the Pleiadians get their information. This is the reason where a lot of the Arcturians and all of the other benevolent races get their information, is because the Greys are scientific in nature. They're not emotionally connected. So the information that they get is purely scientific. So once they get that information that's scientific, then they have to go in with culture interpreters to see how the scientific matches up with the culture interpretation of that science.
So what would you say the hybridization programs are seeking to achieve?
They're
Reconnection with the DNA, or
the main focal point with the hybridization program is to create culture interpreters, but to also get the human race ready for first contact, as well as becoming a galactic citizen.
So are the Greys trying to liberate themselves in a sense from who they work for? Is there many species as far as what you know?
There's a lot of different species, and it really depends on who you talk to. I do know that there are really positive Greys out there. I also do know that there are also bad fractions of Greys. It just really depends on who you talk to, who you interact with. And people have to understand that the Greys are very much like us. They have families, they have jobs that they go to, and people need to like understand that when you see UFOs that come here to our civilization, our home planets and stuff like that, they're risking their lives to come here to study us. Some of them do not get to return back home. Some of them do get captured, and sometimes they never get to see their families again. So depending on who you talk to, people need to understand that a lot of these ET races are risking their lives to come here to visit us, to study us, to understand us as a culture.
So when they're studying, what do they want to know from us? I mean, what knowledge can we give them? What can they glean from us?
Well, just in the past 100 years, our entire civilization has changed. So with my generation to Gen Z generation, just look how much has changed. Look just how much things have changed in the past 20 years. So with that understanding, our civilization can basically change into something extraordinary or something completely different after 50 years. Because we do have a very, very short lifespan, but there's a lot of interesting stuff. Like one of the examples is that a lot of the ETs that I talk to like our creative side, like they like listening to our music, our artwork, and stuff. They like different intricate stuff about our culture and stuff, which is very unique with them. It's just allowing them to understand us as a race, because we have stereotypical views about them and they have stereotypical views about us. It's just trying to like figure out like okay, this is the stereotypical view, but this is not exactly how it happened, or like this is not them. So it's like trying to get a actual like true understanding of us as a race, and that's essentially what they're doing.
I saw a post you did about the Anunnaki being involved somehow, and maybe you're hijacking, or just something about the Anunnaki when you were seeing people talking positively about their return. Do you remember that post, or do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Um, I think so, to be honest.
Yeah. Anything you want to share about the Anunnaki?
That's a good question. Yeah.
So I sort of know some things, but I don't know how much of it's true. So this is the reason why I started my research project, is because you get information, but you don't know if it's true or not.
And that's important to say, because not a lot of people will have that humility and ability to discern. They get very fixed, right? So I'm glad you.
Yeah, so that like I don't
I like
share
that.
information on my YouTube channel until I get it can like confirm, and I tell people like, okay, this is the information that was presented to me. I don't know if it's true. So I had a QHT session, and it got confirmed that I was reincarnated into the Anunnaki royal family in one of my past lives.
So are they the royal family that you were talking about? The Anunnaki
No.
family? Is that no, they're different, another royal family.
Yeah. So essentially, with the stasis pod program, that different star seeds were reincarnated into different royal lineages across our entire galaxy to order to shape and to get a full understanding of what's been happening after the Galactic War. So, like, I could have been reincarnated into Palladian royal family, Anunnaki royal family, Draconian royalty. It all depends. And so, yeah, I got confirmed that I got reincarnated into the Anunnaki royal family lineage for a period of time. I don't know much about it, but it might explain a lot, the reason why I might get contacted by them a little bit or a lot, or try to like understand them a little bit differently. But I only know surface level information about them. I do know from the most part that they have been tyrants. They basically changed our entire DNA. I don't know if it's true that they're trying to fix it, but it's sort of like they can't really fix it because of galactic politics and how much of it's changed our culture and stuff. But the Anunnaki, from what I understand, came from another realm or came from an alternate reality and came into this reality and started a lot of their focus point, or let a lot of their like tyrant and stuff, and basically just started creating an alliance with Draconians and just started, like doing a lot of their genetic experimentations and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that. I kind of question that myself, to be honest, whether that really did happen or not, and how far it did go and what they did with our DNA. Like you, I question things and I just wonder, like, what is the truth? You were talking about like your family in stasis pods. What was that? Can you tell us about that? Is that your heritage from that realm,
So,
from that
my research.
family?
So my research goes into the stasis pod program. So essentially is that they had certain people, whether they came from the galactic family or not, but these were volunteers that would go into the stasis pod programs where they would immerse themselves or put themselves into stasis. And this gets into a little bit of metaphysical science. So essentially is once you go into deep stasis, your original soul of your body can actually leave its physical body and be actually catapulted and be actually reincarnated into another race through permission. So essentially is that these group of volunteers went into the Stasis Pod program, went into deep hibernation or deep sleep to basically have their soul being taken out of their original bodies through permission to be reincarnated into different lineages across our entire galaxy. And so that's essentially what the Stasis Pod program is that you have a group of light workers or starseeds that come from many different galactic origins that are in the Stasis Pod program that are in deep hibernation to basically fix or shape certain focal points of different species. Usually, from what I'm understanding, they usually only do this to races that are still developing because they don't want to culture taint or culture disrupt the development of the culture of that planet. So that's the reason why they created the hybridization program, or like the hibernation or the Stasis Pod program, is to basically send volunteers unknowingly. The way that they told me is that you have to forget who you are and what you are in order to become who you are and who you are now in this current lifetime. So essentially is that you volunteered to basically be sent to Earth to basically forget everything that you know about your entire family, your entire life, and just remember the core teachings of what you were supposed to do to be sent to a developing civilization to basically shape and cultivate that entire species into becoming a more positive, prosperous, and basically hopefully get that race into becoming a galactic citizen.
Where do you see it now? What in the galactic political realm of it all? Where do you see humanity?
We're not even close to becoming a galactic citizen. We're not even close. There's a lot of social economic problems that are happening on our planet. Vast majority of our public, like, they did a test, and the test was, we're starting to have the Congress hearing. We had the pandemic and stuff like that. And they were watching our actions. They're watching every fundamental action of our entire race. Our race is categorized as a hostile level 3 planet. In order for us to become a galactic citizen, we have to be a docile level 3. So we're not even close to.
So what does that mean? Hostile level 3. How many levels are there? Are we like almost like off the level, like there's no turning back, or like can we come back, or what does that mean?
It's not a permanent thing, but we're categorized as a level 0 planet because we're still developing. But a hostile level 3 planet means that we're very, very hostile towards visitors and to ourselves and people around us. So they usually have an information buoy, or like they have this protection order over a planet that if you come to this planet, you're risking your life. No one's going to come and help you. You are on your own if you come to this planet, because of how hostile or how unstable we are as a race. So essentially, that is essentially the reason why they categorize us. Once that has changed, so they will move it up to like level 2 and then eventually level 1. And then we go through this period of tests to see whether or not that we can move up or be changed to a docile level state. But we go through these different tests or different categories in order to basically get us into having like first contact, becoming a galactic citizen. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Well, isn't a big part of the work exposing all the deep state activities, social engineering, all the different ways that they just dumb down humans and indoctrinate? And is it that, along with people waking up enough to not consent anymore? So do you feel that
actually, what they tell me is that Yes, but it mostly comes down to that us as the human race. They're mostly looking at our social dynamics and how we treat each other and how we treat the planet. If we don't treat ourselves with respect or don't unite as the human race, and this is the reason why I created the general public or my human council, is because the general public has a lot of power and has a lot of power. But due to the fact that we are fighting over who has the better religion, fighting over stuff, fighting over resources, and not working together as one single unit. And what I mean by one single unit, look at the ET races that come here.
Mhm.
Look how they come here. They come here with one world government structure. They work together as an entire team. Their entire race works as an entire team in order to basically come here to this planet and study us.
That's kind of interesting though, because I mean, on one level, the whole divide and conquer humanity master plan with like politics and race and sexism and all the myriad of things that we fight about, that we've been fighting about, that we're basically killing each other over. And then you have the layer of the 1%, which we all know. So, I mean, what we're fighting against is globalism and a one world government. And yet you're saying that they're unified by a one world government. So it's kind of, how does that?
Yeah, that's the oxymoron of the study.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's people just need to understand that we have the power to basically change who runs this planet. And that's essentially what the teachings is.
Mm-hmm.
It mostly comes down to that you have these 1% that think that they can go out into the galaxy and think they're going to be okay, but in reality they don't know how harsh it is out there, and they don't know how much of these secret space program basically violated galactic law. Mm-hmm. So essentially is people need to understand this is our home. We're not leaving it anytime soon. This is our home. We need to respect it. We need to learn to get along with each other, because there's no other home out there specifically for us. Not yet, at least, but this is our home. We need to treat it with respect. We need to understand that this is our home, and that with the understanding that we're here to protect and defend our home and make it the best life possible for us before we can venture out. It's like, yeah, we have like 100 years of lifespan, but just look how much we accomplished in that short life frame, or like short lifetime, in a sense. So, and essentially is their message is, it doesn't matter how much money you have. They don't care about our religion. They don't care about religion. They don't care about who has the better money. It's more like, can you guys learn to work together as a species without killing yourselves or killing your entire species as well as the planet?
Yeah.
Because if you guys can't work together and you're basically destroyed your entire home planet, how do you think that you're going to live out in space or learn to work with other ET races out in space if you can't do the basics?
Right. Well, it seems like so much is out of our control, the geoengineering, the chemtrails. But still, yeah, I mean, most humans are not living their highest good and taking care of themselves and the planet for sure. So yeah, I mean, both are happening for sure. You've written a tremendous book. So tell us about what's in that book and your process, like that came about before you wrote it.
So my book is based on my popular series called Space School Lessons. And it's where I break down different topics and get into talking about galactic politics, how they organize, how they basically run the galaxy in a sense, in like a basic beginner's guide. It took me about 2 years to write. I know that it's not professionally done or anything. Like I did everything. I did all the editing. I did the cover art and everything. So I understand it's not professionally done, but I'm just happy that I finally got my book out. I wrote it myself. So I have different chapters, and it's just based off of my YouTube series called Space School Lessons. It gets into explaining galactic politics, like the prime directive, category of species, how they categorize species. And then it gets into, if you get towards the second half of my book, it gets into talking about time travel, stargates, the political spectrum between alien abductions, the secret space program, and the hybridization program, as well as the STARSEED program in my second half of my book. I also talk a little bit about AI as well in my series, but it's not so much in my first book, but it's mostly on my YouTube channel. And so that's the reason why I'm doing my second edition, is to add that in my book. So my first book is based off of basic understanding of galactic politics or basic policies. And then my second book that I'm trying to write is going to go over galactic philosophy. So this is what my book looks like on Amazon and stuff. So it's not just a book. It's also
Volume 1, Beginner's Guide to Galactic Politics. Keep going.
Yeah. I love it.
It's not
I love the title.
So it's not just like a book, but it's also like, like a guidebook where people can write in and take notes and stuff and highlight and stuff. Smart. So it's like a guidebook. It's sort of like a little diary for people to like write in and take notes in and stuff. So it's not just a book for reading, but it's also a book to basically take notes in as well.
So let me ask you something. What's your most popular class in Space School Lessons?
I think the most popular one is probably my first 3 episodes, which is I can show it here in my book. Sorry. So my first book gets into the basic understanding. So my first chapter, which is in my book, it gets into the creation of the galactic government. So it gets into like the history of the reason why the central government was made, and then it gets into classification of species, how they like organize and assess different races. And then I think my third chapter gets into, or my third series gets into Exopolitics, which is just basic understanding of how it all works and understanding what the prime directive is and stuff. I'm in the process of like updating that type of series, but so like I think my first 3 series is beginners. It's like the beginning of the classification of species, classification of like creation of the galactic government, and I think it's also my most popular one is the Xenopolitics one, which is like getting into like the basics of how it connects with Earth and stuff.
Very cool. What's it been like with the people that you've run into and just the dots you've connected and just kind of entering this kind of speaker circuit and a lot of familiarity with some folks from your experiences and before you met them that there's some dots that connected?
Yeah, there's been a lot of interesting people that I have met. One of the things that I've learned that nothing comes with coincidence. So like I've met So when I went to the conference, everybody's talking about the med beds and stuff and be like, oh, they're never going to be released to the general public. Well, they already been released. It's just not in the way that we expect. We think they're going to be like what we see from the programs, but no, like they did bring out the med beds. It's just that they just broke it down in different components for us to basically like use and utilize. Like they're just not just going to hand us technology. We have to adapt it to our own species. So I think it was like Susan Whitmaker, I think it was, and they had like the broad spectrum where you put your hand on this little device and that tells you what type of toxins are in your body. And then they also had like the Tesla table at the conference and stuff. And I was like, well, this is just basic Like this is like first generation medical beds. It's just that it's just going to take us a while to get to that, like fifth or like fourth or fifth generation med beds, but it's here. It's just not in the way that people expect it to be.
So it's kind of like watered down med bed, but not like the best version of the med bed. Is that what you mean, kind of thing?
Yes.
Mm.
What a journey, my goodness. What kind of encounters have you had recently? I mean, anything show up or anything? You know how some people, like Stranger Things, people refer to Montauk. Is there anything that is out there that you can say I've experienced similar, or anything lately that you've experienced that you want to share?
I've just been taking a lot for like meetings and stuff, like galactic meetings. One of my most recent one is that they took me and I went to like a gathering place, and they're like in the meeting place. And so there was this hall, and you're walking and they're guiding you, and there's like this big giant golden ball, or like this giant ball, which I mostly believe might have been like an ET that I may not have understood, or might have come from another density or different dimension or alternate reality. But you have this big giant glowing ball. There's other council members talking and stuff. And all I can think about is like, is this a ceiling decoration, or like what is this? So like
Where were you?
and I have this thought of like, is this like a ceiling decoration? Is this not a ceiling decoration? And I was like, and I'm just thinking like, I wonder if I can touch it, like hug it like a pillow. And then that's when you kind of realize that it's an actual ET being that's understanding what you're thinking through telepathy and stuff.
So where were you though where were you in this council?
Do you believe that I was in the central galactic government structure in our galaxy and understanding the geopolitical scale or spectrum of what's happening in our current galaxy going on right now?
So, but when you were meeting, what did they look like? Did they look like us, or were they different grays? Who were they?
From the most part, I couldn't really like see who they are, but I do believe that there were a lot of cedar races, a lot of elder races that we haven't seen in a while that all showed up to the central government structure. So essentially what they do in order to not overload my body or overload my nervous system, because I was talking to Chris and Joanne about this, and they have the same issue where the human race is like, we want to see ETs, we want to interact with them, but it's like, can you physically handle it? Can you physically like not like freak out or like physically handle it? So it's like they had to like, like dumb down the experience so they don't overwhelm you, or like basically like don't overwhelm your body. So essentially is like they had to like censor it enough for like my human brain to comprehend and understand. And essentially I just perceived it of how my brain perceives it and stuff. So it's just like it's like going to like a little conference area, or like you going to a conference or going to a meeting, and it's like everybody's there. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. A lot of them, a lot of it is kind of comical because you go there and be like, we don't usually get humans that venture out this far. And it's like, we always see human males and all this other stuff. And there you can just hear them like chit chatter and stuff. And then there's like, and then they see you and be like, oh, it's so good to see you. Like, it's like I'm human. And they're like excited. And it's like us like seeing like a puppy at a store and stuff. So that's basically like they're like they want to understand us, we understand them, and then they have these cultural interpreters that try to like help us understand. So if anybody like see the Star Trek series where they like try to like understand a new race and stuff. Is sort of like that. It's like they're excited to see us, we're excited to see them, and people have to understand that they're just like us. Like they have emotions, they have families. I was just saying, like one of the ways, the best ways that they told me is like they're just like us. It's just that they have a lot of cooler toys or like better technology or cooler toys than us in a sense.
I love that. Like they're just like that, us, but they have better toys. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny. Like that's really funny, actually, when you put it that way.
Yeah,
I don't want some of those toys. I mean, what do you think?
right? Do secret
Yeah,
Santa with them.
yeah. I like some of those outfits, you know? Like I think they've got cool as shit clothes, man. I
Gosh, when they
mean,
go,
like I'd be in it for the fashion. That's me.
oh my gosh. So, yeah, I mean, if you were to describe a vision of what the future will look like when we actually do get to that level of galactic citizen, what do you feel that looks like? And I know it's not a fixed thing, but if what comes to you when I ask that?
No more violence on our planet.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the ET beings that I go to and talk to, they have no crime on their planet whatsoever. Um, they can't fathom the type of crime that we have on our planet. Like they don't understand it. So I guess one of the ways that we can become a galactic citizen is not to have any more crime, including like murder to like theft to stuff like that. It's like they don't have it whatsoever. So I think one of the ways for us to become a galactic citizen is to just not have crime anymore.
I mean, I could
Can you
imagine
imagine living in a civilization where there's no crime?
that would be a dream, actually, where we wouldn't hate each other and not talk to somebody because of they disagree with us. I mean, it's ridiculous. And those disagreements are based on the divide and conquer humanity master plan. So it's like, do
More
you like
compassion, more forgiveness, more working it out. Like,
do you, do you think, I mean, do we see that? Do they see that happening?
Yeah, it's just gonna take a
Yeah.
while to get there.
Hmm.
It's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take a while.
Hmm.
Like for an example, like what's going on with Bigfoot and our oceans right now. Like everybody is like talking about Bigfoot in the paranormal community, but it's like, can you understand that Bigfoot has families, has emotions? Like they're not just a creature, but they have intelligence. And Chris and Joanne talk about this a whole lot because they connect with Bigfoot a lot. And then we have our oceans, and everybody's talking about mermaids, and like our oceans is a major part of our ecosystem on this planet. Like everybody's focused on ancient civilizations and what's going to come up from the dirt, but it's like what's going on with our oceans? Why is our oceans being weird? Like what's going on with our oceans? And so it's like we have to like understand that we have species here on our planet that coexist with us, like Bigfoot. We have the cryptid creatures, we have fairies, and it's like we need to learn to like understand them. Like we have co-species here on our planet, is we have to learn to like understand and respect them, and that's our test as a race. Because if we can learn to coexist with the races that coexist with us already on our planet, then we have a better understanding of how to coexist and how to create proper alliances with other galactic races across our galaxy.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even though we have a long way to go, it's deep within us. I mean, we know this, and more rehabilitation centers, healing centers, really holistic approach to everything to get to the root of these deeper wounds and traumas, because, you know, for some, it goes back to galactic history or ancient times that just gets lost in just the ancestral patternings and just the programmings that mask it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And your healing journey has brought you back to the core of your origins, which probably was huge for your healing process, right? So you're leading by
Yeah,
example. It's beautiful. And
yeah,
the knowledge that you share and teachings. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. Well, I feel like one of the positive things I want to say is that we should be proud of ourselves as a race of like how far we have actually come technology wise. Like, just remember like a couple of decades ago where people who didn't have a way to go or people to talk to about their alien abductions and thought that they were crazy. And now it's common. Like, we have documentaries, we have movies, and everybody's so open about whether or not that they have seen a UFO, and we have Congress hearings about UFOs. Just imagine like 50, 75 years ago, that wasn't even possible. Now it's common day. It's a common thing that we all talk about now. Like, just look how much progress we made in the last 100 years or so.
Oh, for
And
sure.
so it's like we have to be very proud of ourselves. There was a lot of social change that had to occur on our planet for that to happen. But it's like yes, we can be upset, but we have to take a moment and just pat ourselves on the back as a race. Like, we did it. We made it this far. It's just that we have to take one more step. But it's like, just look how much in the span of 75 years since World War II, or even longer than that. Like, people back in the day didn't were like if you ever talk about UFOs or ETs and stuff, they will, like silence you or threaten you. And now people just talk about it every day. They even joke about it, like in the music awards. Like, they basically joke about it in the general public right in front of our face in music awards, like a couple of years ago. Like, they joke about it, like they know it exists, they know it's out there. It's just that there had to be a lot of social change, and
I
it
just,
took us a while.
Mhm.
I just wonder though why this is happening now. And I still feel like, with people like Stephen Greer and Louis Alonso, a lot of it is still controlled. And I feel like, what aren't they disclosing? What aren't they telling us? You know?
It probably has a lot to do with galactic politics. That's the reason
Mhm.
why.
Mhm.
Um, it's like they don't know how much of our planet can actually handle the truth. And it's like, we want the truth, but it's like, can you actually handle the truth?
Mhm.
And that's the thing. It's like we can't handle any more wars, any more scandals, any more psyops.
Mhm.
I don't think humans can really handle any more of that because nothing's been easy on us with what we don't know. It's been
Mhm.
brutal.
Yeah. So like, this is the reason why it's taking so long. It's because certain things have to happen for the human race to understand stuff. But it's like, don't get angry, don't get upset. Just be like, it took a long time for people to be open about their experiences, to even talk about UFOs. Like, it took a very, very long time to get to this point. Like, we should be proud that we're making documentaries about UFOs. We should be proud for getting this far with our own technology. Like, people are sharing wonderful information. Like, just look at what's coming out of the SSP program, the disclosure community, and stuff like that. Like, yes, we should be proud. And yes, there's a lot more work to be done, but it's like, we have all this information and stuff. But it's like, how are we going to utilize this information properly to make a better future for humanity? That's the main question. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, we'll give you the information, but we don't know what you're going to do with that information. Is it going to be hoarded?
Mhm.
Is it going to be hoarded? Or is it going to help humanity to create a better future for humanity? And that's the main question. Like, yes, we want to give you the information, but we don't know what you're going to do with it. Is it going to harm people, or is it going to benefit your people in a sense? And that's the main question that a lot of these ET races have.
The thing is, though, when you look at a show like Stranger Things and what they're doing to children, and the Montauk and people are now hearing that this was a real story about Camp Hero and about Montauk. And like it's like there's a trickle down about what happens with children who are abducted and how they're thrown in dumbs and experimented on and sent into deep space, and all the horrors of what's going on with children. I just don't understand why there isn't more of a, like, there should be more outrage, and there isn't. It's more like, oh, it's fiction still. I just feel like maybe that's a part of why we don't know the full truth, is because maybe, they don't want
When we had the Congress hearing over UFOs, like people wanted the Congress hearing about UFOs.
right,
so
but
we had the Congress hearing, people didn't care. They didn't even listen to it. They didn't even care.
I mean, I think
it's like, you guys want it, but do you guys actually want it? Do you guys actually care? And the answer is no. People don't care.
Yeah, that's it.
When it comes down to the root, is that people just don't care. Like, one of the main issues that we're having is that people are just not grasping the information that comes out of these communities. Like, people have to like repeat stuff over and over and over again. This has a lot to do with the amnesia siphoning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to like understand, but it's like, yeah, it's like you guys been wanting this and seeking it and stuff, but it's like when it really comes down to it, when you're actually giving it, it's like people don't really care at all. And there isn't like an uproar because we've been so social conditioning. Like, one of the most popular things that I have learned is that we're so normalized to chaos. Like, it's become so normal for us to live in a chaotic society that we fundamentally don't understand how to be in a peaceful civilization. Like, we don't.
People are addicted to drama too, and just the whole deal of, yeah, the psyops and the division it causes seems to be more inviting than the truth.
Well, this is a whole other topic that's really interesting that we should maybe you could come back and we could talk about that.
Have you back on, Audrey.
Yeah,
that was
thank
really
you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do this for so long. So thank you for joining us, and we'll definitely be in touch, and we'll put the links to your book and your social media where people can find you, and just so appreciate your wisdom, your heart, what you embody. You're amazing. So thank you for joining us on Divine Mother Earth Time.
Yeah, thank you,
Audrey. There's a lot of information.
Any events coming up? Anything you want to share about this upcoming year?
The only thing that I have this coming year is try to get my second edition of my book out and just writing my second book. But I'm always open if people want to book me for like a conference or, like a webinar for me to speak at. But as far as I know, I'm just plugging away on my YouTube channel, just sharing the knowledge that I get and stuff.
Yeah, we'll definitely share that too. Really good stuff. Oh my gosh. So important. You're a very important voice. The galactic politics, the bigger picture of it all. And you have that diplomacy and that healing energy in you to guide so many where we need to go. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you, Audrey. Bye, everybody.